Hello everyone, my name is Miss Jenna with the Louisville Public Library. I am so excited to be doing story times with you online every Friday at 10:30. Each week we will be reading awesome books together and we'll also be doing a craft. You can pick up your craft on that Friday right inside the main library doors. It will be in a brown paper bag. Let's get started. Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for story time today. I bet you and your family are getting so excited for Christmas. We are too. Well, today we are going to talk about those animals that Santa needs to pull his sleigh on Christmas Eve, reindeer. And you guessed it, I'm going to teach you how to sign reindeer in American Sign Language. So it might be what you'd expect. We're going to kind of make antlers with our hands. We're going to put them up like this and pull it away. Reindeer, reindeer. Very good. Let's try it one more time. Reindeer. Very good. All right, so our first story is titled Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. The original story by Robert L. May, and it was illustrated by Michael Emberley. It was published by Applewood Books. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. 'Twas the day before Christmas, and all through the hills the reindeer were playing, enjoying the spills of skating and coasting and climbing the willows and hopscotch and leapfrog protected by pillows. While every so often they'd stop to call names at one little deer not allowed in their games. Ha ha, look at Rudolph, his nose is a sight. It's red as a beet, twice as big, twice as bright. While Rudolph just wept, what else could he do? He knew that the things they were saying were true. Where most reindeers' noses are brownish and tiny, poor Rudolph's was red, very large, and quite shiny. In daylight it dazzled, the picture shows that. At nighttime it glowed like the eyes of a cat, and putting dirt on it just made it look muddy. Oh boy, was he mad when they nicknamed him Ruddy. Although he was lonesome, he always was good, obeying his parents as good reindeer should. That's why on this day, Rudolph felt almost playful. He hoped that from Santa, soon driving his sleigh full of presents and candy and dollies and toys for good little animals, good girls and boys, he'd get just as much, and this is what pleased him, as the happier, handsomer reindeer who teased him. So as night and a fog hid the world like a hood, he went to bed hopeful. He knew he'd been good. While way, way up north on this same foggy night, old Santa was packing his sleigh for its flight. This fog, he complained, will be hard to get through. He shook his round head and his tummy shook too. Without any stars or a moon as our compass, this extra dark night is quite likely to swamp us. To keep from collisions, we'll have to fly slow. To keep our direction, we'll have to fly low. We'll steer by street lamps and houses tonight in order to finish before it gets light. Just think how the boys' and girls' faith would be shaken if we didn't reach them before they awaken. Come Dasher, come Dancer, come Prancer and Vixen. Come Comet, come Cupid, come Donner and Blitzen. Be quick with your suppers, get hitched in a hurry. You too will find fog a delay and a worry. And Santa was right, as he usually is. The fog was as thick as a soda's white fizz. Just not getting lost needed all Santa's skill, with street signs and numbers more difficult still. He tangled in treetops again and again, and barely missed hitting a tri-motored plane. He still made good speed with much twisting and turning, as long as the street lamps and house lights were burning. At each house, first noting the people who lived there, he'd quickly select the right presents to give there. By midnight, however, the last light had fled, for even big people have then gone to bed. Because it might wake them, a match was denied him. Oh my, how he wished for just one star to guide him. Through dark streets and houses, old Santa fared poorly. He now picked the presents more slowly, less surely. He really was worried, for what would he do if folks started waking before he was through? The air was still foggy, the night dark and drear, when Santa arrived at the home of the deer. A ledge that he tripped on while seeking the chimney gave Santa a spill and a painfully skinned knee. The room he came down in was blacker than ink. He went for a chair and then found it a sink. The first reindeer bedroom was so very black, he tripped on the rug and fell flat on his back. So dark that he had to move close to the bed and squint very hard at the sleeping deer's head before he could choose the right kind of a toy, a doll for a girl or a train for a boy. But all this took time and filled Santa with gloom, while slowly he groped toward the next reindeer's room. The door he just opened, when to his surprise a dim but quite different light met his eyes. The lamp wasn't burning, the glow came instead from something that lay at the head of the bed. And there lay, but wait now, what would you suppose? The glowing, you've guessed it, was Rudolph's red nose. So this room was easy, this one little light let Santa pick quietly the gifts that were right. How happy he was till he went out the door. The rest of the house was as black as before. So black that it made every step a dark mystery. And then came the greatest idea in all history. He went back to Rudolph and started to shake him, of course very gently, in order to wake him. And Rudolph could scarcely believe his own eyes. You just can't imagine his joy and surprise at seeing who stood there so real and so near, while telling the tale we've already told here. Poor Santa's sad tale of distress and delay, the fog and the darkness and losing the way. The horrible fear that some children might waken before his complete Christmas trip had been taken. And you, he told Rudolph, may yet save the day. Your wonderful forehead may yet pave the way for a wonderful triumph it actually might. Old Santa, you notice, was extra polite to Rudolph regarding his wonderful forehead. To call it a big shiny nose would sound horrid. I need you, said Santa, to help me tonight, to lead all my deer on the rest of our flight. And Rudolph broke out into such a big grin, it almost connected his ears and his chin. A note for his folks, he dashed off in a hurry. I've gone to help Santa, he wrote, do not worry. Said Santa, my sleigh I'll bring down to the lawn. You'd stick in the chimney and flash, he was gone. So Rudolph pranced out through the door very gay and took his proud place at the head of the sleigh. The rest of the night, well, what would you guess? Old Santa's idea was a brilliant success. And brilliant was almost no word for the way that Rudolph directed the deer and the sleigh. In spite of the fog, they flew quickly and low and made such good use of the wonderful glow from Rudolph's air forehead at each intersection that not even once did they lose their direction. While as for the houses and streets with a sign on them, they merely flew close so that Rudolph could shine on them. To tell who lived there and just what to give whom, they fly by each window and peek in the room. Old Santa knew always which children were good and minded their parents and ate as they should. So Santa selected the gift that was right, while Rudolph's air forehead just gave enough light. It all went so fast that before it was day, the very last present was given away. The very last stocking was filled to the top, just as the sun was preparing to pop. The sun woke the reindeer in Rudolph's hometown. They found the short message that he'd written down. They gathered outside to await his return, and were they excited, astonished to learn that Rudolph, the ugliest deer of them all, Rudolph the red-nosed, bashful and small, the funny-faced fellow they always called names and practically never allowed in their games, was now to be envied by all far and near, for no greater honor can come to a deer than riding with Santa and guiding his sleigh, the #1 job on the #1 day. The sleigh and its reindeer soon came into view, and Rudolph still led them as downward they flew. Oh boy, was he proud as they came to a landing, right where his handsomer playmates were standing. These bad deer who used to do nothing but tease him would now have done anything only to please him. They felt even sorrier they had been bad when Santa said, "Rudolph, I never have had a deer quite so brave or brilliant as you at fighting black fog and at guiding me through. By you, last night's journey was actually bossed. Without you, I'm certain we'd all have been lost. I hope you'll continue to keep us from grief on future dark trips as Commander-in-Chief." But Rudolph just blushed from his head to his toes until his whole fur was as red as his nose. The crowd first applauded and then started to screech, "Hooray for our Rudolph, and we want a speech." But Rudolph was bashful despite being a hero, and tired, his sleep on the trip totaled 0. So that's why his speech was just brief and not bright. "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." And that's why, whenever it's foggy and gray, it's Rudolph the red-nosed who guides Santa's sleigh. Be listening this Christmas, but don't make a peep, 'cause that late at night children should be asleep. The very first sound that you'll hear on the roof, provided there's fog, will be Rudolph's small hoof. And soon after that, if you're still as a mouse, you may hear a swish as he flies round the house, and gives you enough light to give Santa a view of you and your room. And when they're all through, you may hear them call as they drive out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." The end. So that is how Rudolph started leading Santa's sleigh, huh? I love that story. Well, for our craft today, we are going to make a Rudolph ornament of our very own. So let's get started. All right, friends, so when you get your grab bag from the library, you are going to find 2 craft sticks. You will find a craft stick with some yarn taped on the back. You will find 2 pipe cleaner pieces. It's 1 pipe cleaner cut in half. You will find a red circle and 2 googly eyes. From home, you will need glue and a brown crayon or marker. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is color the craft sticks brown. I thought we'd make it look more brown, like a deer. I colored 2 of them, so you didn't have to watch me do it. So I'll do this last one now to just make the wooden craft sticks a little bit darker. All right. So now what we're going to do is our reindeer is going to have a triangle head. So we are going to glue it just like this, okay? So I'm going to do that. Sorry, my glue's not working too well. Okay. I have to be careful because mine will be drying. But this is what it should look like. Next, you are going to take the 2 pipe cleaner pieces and put them on each side of the brown yarn. These are going to be your reindeer antlers. So I found that the easiest way to do this is to wrap it around the craft stick and just twist it together. They're not supposed to look perfect. They're just reindeer antlers. So you can kind of twist them and then adjust them to make them look like antlers. Do the other one. All right, so when you're done, it should look something like this, okay? Next, we are going to take our googly eyes and put one on this stick and one on this stick, okay? All right, so here's this so far. And last but not least, we have to give Rudolph his red nose, and we're gonna glue it right on the very end, all right? Let's see here. All right, when you are all done, it should look something like this. I hope you can find a good spot to hang it. All right, friends, let's get on to our second reindeer story today. Our second story for today, friends, is called Reindeer Christmas. It was written by Mark Kimball Moulton and illustrated by Karen Hillard Good. It was published by Simon & Schuster Books. Reindeer Christmas. A December snow is falling, lightly dusting all the trees, blanketing the forest in a crystal filigree. The basket that I carry holds a tasty late-night treat, carrots, corn, and apples for our forest friends to eat. We sprinkle all the goodies on the pure white snow-capped ground, then watch the thankful animals begin to gather round. Deer and birds and bunnies come, and lots of playful mice. We've even had a regal moose indulge us once or twice. Each visit from our woodland friends makes us feel oh so blessed, but there's one special visit that stands out above the rest. 'Twas late one snowy evening, Christmas Day would soon be here, when in the frosted forest something shimmered like the moon. We saw the slightest movement and the flicker of an ear, and suddenly we knew that what was glowing was a deer. But as we watched, he stumbled and then fell into the snow. He closed his eyes and soon began to lose his subtle glow. He looked so cold and hungry as he shivered in the storm. Grandma said, let's bring him in and make him toasty warm. We ran outside and touched the deer. He opened just one eye, and magically he seemed to float. He almost seemed to fly. We wrapped our arms around him, and we gently helped him in and brought him to the fire where he floated down again. He settled on a blanket, then Gram urged us, let him be. With food and warmth and rest, he'll be good as new, you'll see. She placed a bowl beside him filled with apples, grain, and more. He ate a bit, then closed his eyes and soon began to snore. Much later in the evening, something woke me from my dreams. My room was softly shimmering from luminescent beams. I peered out of the window and could not believe my eyes. I thought I saw our friend the deer fly straight across the sky. I tiptoed to the fireplace to see if he was there. But sure enough, our dear was gone. He wasn't anywhere. The next day, it was Christmas Eve, and we had so much to do. We found the perfect tree, and then we wrapped our presents too. That night, we all slept soundly as we dreamed of Christmas morn, when we would wake and celebrate the day our Christ was born. The sunrise had us leaping from our beds excitedly and bounding barefoot down the stairs, shouting out in glee. Grandma served us breakfast, then she smiled in pure delight as we enjoyed each gift that Santa left for us that night. And when we thought the gifts were done, Graham reached beneath the tree and handed a small wooden box and Christmas card to me. Dear friends, for many years I've watched you with a smile upon my face, caring for our forest friends with tenderness and grace. The other day, as we were placing stars among the trees, which help us find our way on dark and snowy Christmas Eves, a blizzard fell upon us and my Donner lost his way. We searched for hours to no avail. All we could do was pray. Without our dear old Donner's help, my sleigh would never fly. We couldn't make our yearly trip no matter how we tried. But thanks to you, he made it home in time to pull my sleigh. And now we are on a schedule you help save Christmas Day. Inside this little trinket box is magic reindeer glow, which helps my reindeer fly through rain and fog and sleet and snow. Hold this box and make a wish, then close your sleepy eyes, and you will see your wish come true before the next sunrise. Santa Claus. Our forest friends still visit us each and every night, and we still watch them by the warm, soft glow of candlelight. The wooden box that Santa left was placed into my care. I've treasured it for all these years, as magic is so rare. I've wanted the most perfect wish that there could ever be, and finally this special wish has just occurred to me. So now I'll close my eyes and hope my heartfelt wish comes true. I wish you peace and happiness and love the whole year through. The end. Well, that is a neat story too. So you never know if the deer you see outside are Santa's reindeer. All right, friends, let's practice the word reindeer in American Sign Language one more time. Remember, we kind of make antlers. Reindeer, reindeer. Very good. All right, well, be watching for reindeer in the sky on Christmas Eve. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Friday. Thank you for joining me for story time today. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Please have the adult in your home leave us a comment and tell us how many individuals were watching with you today. It truly helps the library. Until next time, let's spread kindness wherever we go. Have a great week, everyone.